Hey everyone, welcome back to another video. Today we're going to continue learning how to draw the figure by focusing on how to draw a hand. So I know for some of you that may just simply mean taking your hand and then tracing it, and that could be a pretty simple thing, but if you have to draw from a model, perhaps you just might want to know these proportions. So let's go over some of the proportions of the hand as it is when it's open. So let's just try to use this simple method that I'm going to try to show you right here. So for the sake of this demo, we're going to go ahead and just have our hand take up this much space. So let's make a top and a bottom part, and let's go ahead and cut this in half. And we're going to make this middle line where the middle finger is going to be. Okay. Once we have this set, let's go ahead and draw very lightly just a line going across the middle and the top and the bottom. And for this top line, we're going to go ahead and just give this a little bit of an angle. Okay, but we're going to keep this straight. All right, so this area is going to represent our palm, and this area is going to represent our fingers. So you can just watch me as I go ahead and do this. So what I'm going to do is just simply make a very simple shape that looks like this. And we are going to refine this. Okay. After you've done that, we're going to go ahead and take this. And remember, this is going to be our middle finger. Okay. And we're going to go ahead and divide this into, we're going to try to roughly look at this as into thirds. Now, the human hand is actually divided up with the numbers of the golden ratio. So, so this isn't quite thirds. So I'm going to have you guys first divide this into thirds, but then we're just going to take this line and we're going to push it down just a little bit. And same thing with this. We're going to push this down a little bit as well. So you can get a ruler and whatnot, but remember, I think I'm going to try to help you just to draw this as if you were just looking from real life. So this can kind of be a way of measuring it in a simple way. Okay. Once we do this, we're going to take this and this, and we're going to divide that in half. And this is going to represent our finger. So when we draw our fingernail, okay, let me just try to make this just a little bit bigger so you can see it. That fingernail is going to look like this. So we're going to curve the tops just a little bit, come down, and we're going to do this shape. So this is going to be our basic fingernail shape when we draw the hand. Okay, so just get a little closer so you can see that. Okay, now that we have this fingernail, we're going to go ahead and just, we're going to do like a little semicircle like this. And this is going to represent the tip of my other finger. So we're going to go ahead and let's just do a line here and a line here. So I'm actually giving my lines just a little bit of a curve on both sides. And we want to do the same thing on this side as well. Okay, so we're going to do the same thing here. I'm going to do a little curve here, and I'm going to go ahead and bring this down. And we'll do the same thing here. Okay. once we have this, we're going to take this tip and this tip. We'll divide it into thirds like we did before. Only we're going to come down just a little bit on both sides. So divide into thirds and then come down just a little. Once you have this line, okay, which is actually going to line up with this, we're going to take this line and come over. And we'll make that other shape that we had from before. And for now, we're just going to give this curve here like this. So once we get to that line, we're just going to give this a little bit of that shape. Okay. We're going to take this and swing it up. Take this line and let's just go almost straight up with it. And once we do that, we'll just kind of cut that corner. All right, last part is really, before we refine this, the last part is just getting the thumb. And the end of the thumb is going to come over here. So you can kind of decide how far you want the thumb to swing out. So I'm going to go ahead and just give me a little bit of a curve, not straight, just give me a little bit of a curved line, because you'll see that the thumb tends to kind of hook out a little bit. So once we do that, we'll give that curve. And we'll come over here and just connect it. And we'll come over like this. And just put in the fingernail here. So we'll come down. So if I'm going a little fast for you, or if you're following along with me, go ahead and pause and play if you're trying to do this with me. So I'm actually going to take this line and come over just a little bit more like this. Down. Okay, so let me get a little closer so you can see that. Okay, so I changed my shape so it doesn't look like this anymore. So this is if you're looking straight on, but because we're looking at our thumb, we're tilting it sideways, which is giving that. So we're going to put our knuckle there, and then we have one more there. So between these two, we're going to give a little bit of a curve down. Okay. Okay. So that's our thumb. Let's go ahead and refine our other fingers. So we're going to do the same thing that we did before. Take this. Let's put our fingernails in. So we're going to go ahead, take the distance between these two. We're going to cut that in half. Take the distance between these two, cut that in half. We forgot to do the, or I forgot, not you. Um, so this is going to mark the top of our pinky. And we want to divide this into thirds, but we want to come down just a little bit on both sides. All right, so that's going to mark our knuckle. Divide this in half. Okay, so these small lines are going to represent our fingernails. So I'm going to take this shape and apply it to here, here, and here. So it's 1. 2. 3. So we're going to make this little adjustment over here on the side. These are almost looking straight down, and this one's turning just a little bit. It's going to have a little bit of a different view. All right, now we're going to start to refine this. So let's go ahead and start with our middle finger. So if this is a simple way of kind of figuring out what the fingers are going to do. It's kind of, if you could imagine the bones, they're kind of doing something like this, where they just imagine that there's, draw, if you want, you can draw, you don't have to do this, but you can just draw like little rectangles and then just do this in between. And that's going to kind of help see or understand why the fingers are doing what they do. All right, so we're going to go ahead, put a little round part on each side. I'm going to come out, over, and let's go ahead and put in our fingertip. Let's try not to make the knuckles, we don't want them to bulge out too much at all. All right, so that's 1, and we're going to do the same thing on this side. Let's go ahead, and if you want, you can go ahead and make that shape again. So we're going to, where the knuckle is, we're going to put, we're just going to box that out. Maybe just put some boxes, mark some curves in between the boxes like this, and that is going to help us with our fingers. So we're going to come out and over, out, over, and not too much. And be careful that we don't have our fingernails, or I'm sorry, our knuckles, we don't want them to bulge too much. Okay, let's do the same thing over here. Determine where your knuckle is. Put a box, another box. Same as before, we're going to go ahead, take this, round it. Oh, forgot to put my curves. Curves here. Okay, same thing on this side. Let's come up and around. So just so you know, I'm not going all the way into that curve. I'm just using that as a way of kind of figuring out where the bones are. So that way I know how to just pull that skin in a little bit. Let's go ahead and finish this last finger. So let's put our knuckles. Put our curves. Up, over the knuckle, curve in a little bit, out. Okay, let's try to get this side a little bit better. So we're going to come over here, give this a curve, and let's come out just a little bit more. And over here on the top, just imagine that there's a little bit of a circle there for our wrist. And we want our arm to be up there. Here on this side, we're going to have this curve like this. Have it come up. All right, so let me just darken some of these lines, and I think I've got it for you. All right, I'm going to leave these marks in so you can see what I've done. All right, I hope I brought you some value today. So go ahead, give this a shot in your sketchbook or on your paper, and I'll be back with another video for the figure. Thanks. Have a great day.